nice and slow so we get a lot of mill marks. And we want to mark them, don't we? Both are pretty straight. This looks a little bit rougher. We'll hit it. Equal pressure with our push sticks. I'm going to set them all the same way. That edge is critical to all our other steps for squaring it, cutting it to size, right? So that's why we're marking them. Make sure they go against the fence on the machines following this, the table saw and the radial arm saw. Probably would have preferred to have a piece of chalk, but I don't have one on me. Pencil you have to erase, where chalk you can just easily get rid of the marks, right? Holding it tight to the table, tight to the fence. Equal pressure. Straightest edge down, because if I went with the rough edge, I'd have to run it across here 10 times probably to get rid of that rough edge. This is step number 1 in the 4-step process of squaring our parts. Making our, once again, rails and stiles for our raised panel door, or doors, for the nightstand. That's step number 1. We'll go over to step number 2. I've got the table saw set up at 2 inches, which is the width of our rails and stiles. Set it up here, and I double checked from the fence to the tooth pointing towards the fence, and we're at 2 inches. To keep it at 2 inches, I got to keep my parts tight on the fence, right? If it comes away from the fence, it's no longer 2 inches. Check our blade height. We're fine. About a 1/4 inch above our material. Jointed edge against the fence on all of them. So I've got them set up to run them through. Here we go. Jointed edge against the fence, ripping them to our final 2-inch distance. Push it till it drops. Take care of our scrap. Groove is not showing, so we have to use our push sticks. Left push stick stays in front of the guard, right push stick pushes it through. Straight edge against the fence again. not getting any scrap. This must be already real close to 2 inches, which is fine. Just so it takes off a little bit, so the set is all the same. Jointed edge against the fence. Keeping it tight so we maintain our 2-inch final size, final width. Make sure we're keeping things out of the way back there. Last one, step number 2. All right, go get our parts, put our push sticks on the fence. Let's set our jointed edge against in the same direction so we don't get confused on step 3 and 4. So all of these as a set are exactly the same width, and we know they're the same thickness because we just planed and surface sanded, right? Take care of our scrap. Need to empty my scrap box soon. Okay, step number 3. We square an end, right? I'm gonna get a piece of chalk and I'm going to mark them as the squared end so we know what was 3 and which will be 4. All right, here we go. Step number 3 of squaring our parts. Jointed edge against the fence, and I am going to take off just enough to square it. Mark it. So on and so forth. Jointed edge against the fence. Square an edge, step number 3. Edge. Notice I'm coming out just far enough to make my cut. No sense in bringing that blade out any farther, right? Doesn't make sense to come clear out here. Just far enough to make your cut. Keeping our tabletop clear. Two more. jointed edge. All right, so those are done. Step number 3 is done, right? Step number 4 is we're going to cut the other end, jointed edge still against the fence, to length. So if we take these and we flip them, if I can make that happen. All right, so I know the jointed edge is that direction, and this is the one that I want to cut to length because I've already cut this edge, right? Okay, so let's, and they've got to be the same length. I need 2 4 rails and 4 stiles, right? And the stiles, all 4 have to be exactly the same length, and the rails, all 4 have to be exactly the same length. So to do that, step number 4, when we've got multiple parts that we want exactly the same, we use a stop block, okay? And we lock it down to our fence. That way when our part comes in, we know they'll all be the same. Notice on my stop block, I've got a little notch cut out so the dust doesn't collect there and change our dimension. The dust will go into that little chamfer.